highlights here in the U.S., including that famous triumph when he helped lead Team USA to Motocross the Nation's gold in 2000. However, it looked like he would finish his racing career without ever claiming that long-sought-after national title. Does he have the guts to stick his nose in there? He doesn't want any part of that. Ryan Hughes and the KTM take over first place. Unbelievable performance by Ryan Hughes. Rhino's emotional first win in 8 years has given the veteran renewed life in a series slated for youngsters. Now Hughes and fellow 30-year-old title contender Mike Brown find themselves in the driver's seat for the 2003 125 National Championship. Welcome you to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania and High Point Raceway for the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship. These are the Thor Nationals. And hello once again, everybody. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and Cameron Steele on a picture-perfect day here in Pennsylvania. A great day for 125 racing. The track is in good conditions, and we have got a points battle, David. Brown and Hughes, and then you factor in Sorby and Langston, and you can't forget Sellards. So this thing is really wide open, and James Stewart still has not returned.
Well, this is a look at the last corner last week. Rhino using the entire racetrack to barely hold off a hard-charging Eric Sorby for the overall. Rhino was pumped. Sorby has gone 5, 4, 3, and 2. This could be his week.
And it was an emotional scene last week for Rhino, as you pointed out. We talked to him today about last week's finish.
You always think you can do it, but until it happens, then it sinks in, you know. And you know, like I said before, it's just, you know, when it's sunk in, it's just the whole time of preparing and all the stuff I've gone through, you know, injuries and stuff like that, and you know, that plays on you, and when you finally overcome all that, then, you know, it kind of catches you off guard.
Meanwhile, Mike Brown also in the hunt, an overall win this season at Glen Helen. Mike Brown is one of those guys that's talked about getting the job done before James Stewart gets back, getting enough points. And then you factor in Grant Langston.
Well, unfortunately, Grant yesterday hurt his wrist, but here he is leaving the Aspic Medical Unit. You know, it seems like Grant is always hurt, so I don't know if this is really that much of a problem. He's like Pastrana. He can ride with injuries.
Ivan Tedesco, another great rider. Hot Sauce 4th overall at Hangtown. Folks at Yamaha looking for him to move up. And Eric Sorby, who you talked about. He has been so aggressive, maybe the most aggressive rider for Team Kawasaki right now.
Well, now that Stewart's missing from the series, we're starting to really notice the aggressiveness of Eric Sorby and Mike Brown. And then last week, early laps, Brock Sellards second right here, and as they come by, got knocked down by Ryan Hughes in a little confrontation. He has had some bad luck so far.
Yeah, I came back to the East Coast right after Hangtown, and it's great to be at a local track, you know. This is where I grew up racing. This is the kind of dirt I grew up racing. I rode in the mud all week to, you know, it's close. It's what I'm used to, so it definitely changes your spirits. I mean, California is California. I mean, you have 2 races out there, and then everything's different when it comes back here. It changes your mind, you know. I just have always wanted to win here, so I guess I always have real positive attitude when I come here.
So Brock Sellard looking to pick up a victory here at Mount Morris. There you see the new section on the right side of your screen, the downhill section. The weather not a factor, 75 degrees, partly cloudy, and only a slight chance for showers. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team, the one and only Cameron Steele.
Well, last year, American Suzuki made dreams come true with Sean Hamlin. This time it's the 125cc rider, Brian Gray on the 338 bike. We saw him do great at Hangtown, a top 8 finish. Now he's in the factory big rig riding a factory bike. In fact, he's riding the injured Branden Jesseman's bike. We'll see how he does today, see how he holds up to the pressure. I guarantee he's going to love riding that factory motorcycle.
All right, thank you, Cameron, as we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. And you've seen Brian Gray. You know this kid is capable of.
Right. Just at the amateur races in Vegas, the World Mini, I saw him there, and he was pretty impressive. And now to be in a national moto and finishing up in the top 10, man, what a step forward he's taken lately.
No question about it. Eric Vallejo, there he's the second last on the list, and we are set to go. This is Moto number 1, 125 class from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania.
Looks like Sellards, all blue in the corner, but Sellards looks like he got the whole shot. You don't want to be back there. That's where all the problems occur.
Well, it was Yamaha soup up front as he went into the whole shot. Your leader, Brock Sellards, number 18 on board the Yamaha. In second place, number 3 on the Kawasaki, Mike Brown closing in. Ryan Hughes is up there, number 105 on the KTM as well.
Also Metcalf, it looked like, and Brown, when he went around that right-hander, just took a quick look to his left just to see who it was. He wants to know where Rhino is all the time.
KTM having a great showing. There's 105. There's Metcalf coming into view, and then the rest of the Yamaha riders, a huge contingent of Yamaha riders in the middle pack.
Saw Brian Gray getting up there. They got a pretty good start. Also Michael Brandis, who had such a strong run at Glen Helen, getting good starts.
So it's Sellards, Brown, and Hughes going 1, 2, and 3 as we start things off here at beautiful Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. These are the Thor Nationals, stop number 3 of the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship. Todd Harris along with David Bailey and Cameron Steele, and this should be a great race. And we've already got a rider down, 123, Brett Metcalf, who was sitting in 4th place, David.
Yeah, just as soon as you make a mistake the opening lap, everybody goes by. They'll look at him. He's like, man, I was right there. Blew it.
And you pointed that out. That is the absolute worst time to fall down. There's never a good time, but on the opening lap when everyone's got so much speed going, right to the back of the pack.
Sellards jumping down the staircase into the far section on the track before getting back to Bradshaw Boulevard here, where they come down where the start-finish line is. Leads the first lap, holding off Brown. It was all over him. Brown loves this track, but he's following a guy that loves it just as much.
Mike Brown trying to opt for the inside line. Brock Sellards closes that down quickly. Back on the gas goes Sellards, number 18 on the Yamaha, your leader. Number 3, Mike Brown on the Kawasaki out of Johnson City, Tennessee. Looking good on the inside. They almost come together. And Sellards once again, and look at that, set him up perfectly.
Yeah, Brock should have known that was coming, but I don't think he could do anything about it because he went into the corner so hot. It was Brown's mechanic. Pretty intense. You know, I think that if Mike hadn't made that pass, he'd probably hit him with the pit board going, get up there.
Well, he was in such a tough situation. Brock Sellards, he was covering the outside. While he's covering the outside, he loses the inside. So it was a no-win for him. He now moves into second, and it doesn't get any better. Ryan Hughes now right on his back.
Rhino's got to be careful not to let Brown get too much of a lead. He's already got about 40 yards. It's only been a half a lap or so since he passed Sellards. So I think Rhino understands that, okay, as long as he's right there, he can be patient, but if Brown checks out any more than he already has, Rhino's going to start taking some chances.
Well, not to foreshadow too much, we should be thankful for what we have, but can you imagine when you factor in number 259 to this pack of 3?
This is so good. It's only the beginning of the series. It's already great. Shaping up to be a good moto here. And you know that at Southwick in the next round, when Stewart's back in there, he's probably planning on winning every single moto. Look at that.
Ryan Hughes cuts off. Brock Sellards makes the pass, just as you predicted, David. Brock Sellards has to watch that angle, and Hughes is in there. So now it becomes the battle with Ryan Hughes trying to track down Mike Brown, and Brown's starting to get a bit of a distance. You see the pit boards coming out. 2:22 lap time for Brock Sellards, and they're telling him, that's not whip out your Visa card, that's charge, that's get on the throttle.
Yeah, this is the look at Rhino. He just carries a little bit more speed off the finish line jump, angles right to the inside and catches Sellards looking for a line. Rhino's like, I don't need no stinking line. I just want to cut you off and get the job done and go after number 3. Staying about the same so far. He hasn't been able to really cut into Brown's lead very much, but we're still early in the race. And we've got a great battle shaping up here with Sorby. Didn't get the best start, but he's charging hard.
Grant Langston right in front of him, number 111 on the KTM. Eric Sorby behind him, 917 on the Kawasaki. So 4th place is Langston, 5th is Eric Sorby. And I'm sure Langston, with the injured wrist, is saying, of all the people I'd want to see out here, Eric Sorby is not the one. Sorby known for tough, physical, tenacious riding. And that's not what Grant Langston needs right now. Makes a slight mistake, and there's Sorby to capitalize.
Yep, minus 4 seconds on Brock Sellards up front. Pointing to his head, be smart. Now Sorby, both Sorby and Langston, I think they're feeling that great today. Of course, Langston's a little bit hurt. Sorby crashed yesterday, and he had a little bit of trouble with the bike, and just didn't seem to be feeling it this morning, but you never know. Look how that could have been ugly. And Sorby kind of made a little mistake behind him and messed up the corner right here. But a couple corners later, he's able to get by Langston, and now he's solid into 4th place, charging after Brock Sellards. But neither one of these guys, neither one of their pace is anywhere near what Brown and Hughes are doing out front. So this is pretty much just going to be a battle for the podium spot.
Be smart. KTM folks know what they have in Grant Langston, a very talented rider. He's got to be patient. He's got to stay healthy. Meanwhile, out in front, number 3, Mike Brown on the Kawasaki going through. In second, 105, Ryan Hughes on the KTM, and number 18 on the Yamahas, Brock Sellards, 1, 2, and 3. Back in 9th place, Ivan Tedesco, number 52 on the blue Yamaha. Kind of surprised after what we saw him finish up the Supercross series. Looks so good. We'll be back to Mount Morris after this. It's Brown, Hughes, Sellards, and Sorby. Welcome back to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. High Point Raceway for the Thor Nationals. Todd Harris along with David Bailey and Cameron Steele. This is Moto number 1 in the 125 class, and a great little battle going on right there. Number 32, Michael Byrne, trying to mix it up.
Not the best start for him either, but he's been aggressive, charging forward. Surprised at how fast Brandis is, leading those two. Brandis riding the 250F. I think he's got a lot of horsepower. Brandon's a big kid, and the bike's pulling him pretty good. He got that thing running as good or better than those Yamaha Troy bikes.
Right now, it's the battle of the 2 Australians, Craig Anderson and Michael Byrne going at it. Anderson, number 109 on the Yamaha. Now he's got Ivan Tedesco mixing it up with him.
Yeah, Ivan's been breathing down his neck for a bit, but he cannot seem to make a pass. I was cruising around the track this morning, and I saw Ivan taking a good long look at this section. That's been a tough one for everybody.
So it's Byrne right now, and then Craig Anderson, and then Ivan Tedesco, number 52.
Yeah, the difference in power. You know, Ivan will be a little quicker through all the off-camber stuff in the tight sections, and as soon as they get to the straightaway, seems like that 250F of Anderson's got just a little bit more than Ivan's bike, and he's unable to really get the job done.
Well, that's back in the pack towards the front, plus 6 seconds of story for Brock Sellards, and I think he's got a problem down there, David.
Yeah, well, the good news is he shaved a second off his lap time. The bad news, he's looking down. He was pretty squirrely in the corner before them, so he's got something going wrong with the back end, and Rhino is inching up on Mike Brown. The crowd starting to crowd the fences, sensing a battle.
Well, they've seen it before. The last 2 stops, we've seen these guys get together. Number 3, Mike Brown out of Johnson City, Tennessee, taking a look over his shoulder. Look at this one more time. We'll slow it down to see exactly what's going on, and it looks like he's got a flat.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from there. It's buried in the dirt, but that's usually when you're looking back like that, it's something for the rear brake maybe, or a flat tire. And Brown, he's picked that section to look back every time, and now Sellards, it must be a flat.
So Brock Sellards, number 18 Yamaha bike, has to come into the pits, and this is not a good sign. Let's check in with Cameron Steele and find out what's going on.
Well, guys, down here in the pits, Riley that was running 3rd place, Brock Sellards, is in for a pit stop, something you don't normally see in motocross racing, but it looks like Steele with the flat tire is elected to come in and get some fresh rubber. So right now, mechanic put it on a new wheel, and nothing ever goes exactly right in a rush, and we'll see how these guys do. We'll get Brock back out on the track.
Well, you kind of wish that this was a NASCAR effort where you get in and out of there really quick, or like even the road racing, they come in and get that all done in about 11 seconds, changing and putting gas in both tires. And Brock sees it's about time to get going. The main thing is for the mechanics, they try not to, you know, they can burn their hands changing a lot of stuff. The brake disc is so hot. Oh! Well, that's what Ryan Hughes was looking for. He was starting to apply the pressure, hoping for a mistake. Brown came from out wide, and he was trying to jump that little staircase down over on the left side where it's not as hard of an impact, and he got a little offline. And if those banners get wrapped up in his brakes, that's going to ruin his progress of trying to catch back up to Rhino. And there it is. It's all wrapped in the front wheel. And that messes with you, too. In your mind, you're thinking, man, is that thing going to lock up, or am I going to go into a corner and not have anything? Watch how hard he hits. He bounces right there, just a little bit too far to the left. Rhino's going, yeah. that makes my job easier.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to pass Mike Brown. He's just lucky he didn't pick up one of those stakes, but you make a good point, not wanting to let those flags wrap up in the disc brakes. He's already got some debris in the front tire, and we'll see if that affects him.
Well, he was smart to take his time right there a little bit. He's already lost the lead, but they got a huge gap on third. He was smart to take it easy right there, keep the bike running, and just get the other strand of banners up over his head so he didn't get more wrapped up in the rear wheel.
Meanwhile, the winner from Hangtown last weekend, Ryan Hughes, number 105 on board the KTM, continues to look sharp and amazing considering he didn't even race last year. Here comes Mike Brown. Let's check in with Cameron Steele and find out what's going on.
Brent, we saw the banners in the front wheel of Brownie's front wheel. Everybody around the track is just informing us that the wheel's not locking up, so we don't think there's a drag on the front wheel, but I think Brownie's sketching out. We'll just keep on going, you know, nothing we can do about it. Thank you.
You know, David, when you're a little kid, that was kind of cool to have that stuff in your spokes, but when you're racing like this, I don't think that's what he's looking for.
No, I think the concern is it just ruins your concentration because it's kind of a little bit in your vision. And when you go up in the air off the jumps, the wheel doesn't spin the same, and the bike reacts a little differently. And, you know, that's with your mind. When you're trying to reel Rhino back in, who was already catching Brown before all this happened, that's a tough chore when you got a little issue. Especially heading down that downhill, the new section, fourth gear wide open through those ruts in the bottom. And Sellards back out and going, 34th place. You've got to get into the top 20 to score any points at all. So a little bit of a risk to change that wheel the time you lose, but with it being this early in the race, you know, they were pretty much forced to. You'd have been outside the top 20 anyway.
Ryan Hughes, your leader, followed by Brown, Sorby, and Grant Langston. Back to Pennsylvania in just a moment. The MX Kid, as he is known, was at home on the outdoor tracks of motocross. Mike Kiedrowski turned pro in 1989 and had immediate success, winning the first of 4 outdoor national championships that year. Kiedrowski is one of only 2 riders to have #1 plates in the 125, 250, and 500 motocross classes, the other being Jeff Ward. Also to his credit are 4 Motocross the Nation's gold medals with Team USA. His Supercross success centered around winning the Daytona Supercross 3 consecutive years. When Mike Kiedrowski hung up his motocross racing boots, he left the sport 9th on the all-time wins list with 30 victories. After motocross, the MX Kid became the off-road star as the newest member of Team Suzuki Off-Road. Kiedrowski has been competing in the GNCC Series for the past 3 years and is the 2-time defending World Off-Road Championship Series champ. In his spare time, Mike Kiedrowski likes to mountain bike and relax with his wife, Kim, and their daughter, Caitlin. Welcome back to High Point Raceway, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania for the Thor Nationals. Todd Harris along with David Bailey and Cameron Steele. Your leader, Moto #1, continues to be Ryan Hughes, and he's over a 3-second lead. Right now, let's check in one more time with Cameron.
Jonathan, earlier it looked like Ryan was getting away from Brownie. Now it looks like Brownie's catching back up. What do the lap times say?
I mean, Ryan's just keeping a gap. I mean, at the end of the day, you only need to win a race by 1 second. You don't get any more points for being 20 seconds in front.
So, David, do you buy into that? Do you think Rhino's conserving some energy for Moto #2?
Rhino's got energy to burn. Energy's not a problem for him. I think what he did was got out to a lead and figured, I'll be able to hold this. It's good enough. I mean, the pace is pretty fast. But I think what you're seeing now is Brown is a little bit more comfortable with whatever was happening with his front wheel and going, okay, it's the end of the race, now or never, put on a charge and keep Ryan Hughes on it.
So Ryan Hughes is your leader, number 105 on the KTM in 2nd place. Number 3, Mike Brown. This is Moto #1. As we go back to 5th place, number 32, Michael Byrne. Having a good run here, unable to close in on Grant Langston, who sits just in front of him, number 111 on the KTM.
See Langston go up over that double jump. Must have been a 4th gear double because he downshifted twice in the air. Byrne starting to apply the pressure, but you know, Langston's a warrior. He can be bleeding, he can be sore, he can be all kinds of pain and bandages everywhere. I've seen it time and time again, but he does whatever it takes when the race is on.
Grant Langston is tougher than South African biltong. This guy rides injured more times than not. And the number 111 KTM rider is doing a great job for his sponsor, and I'm sure KTM's got to be happy to have him because you bandage him up and you put him back on the racetrack, and he's going to give you everything he's got. One more time, let's check in with Cameron.
Guys, just thought I'd check in with you, let you know about the 338 bike. Brian Gray holds up well under the pressure of the factory team right now. A top 10 run going down here in moto number 1.
Well, that's great news for him, great news for Team Suzuki, David.
Yeah, I'm surprised, you know, when you get a new kid coming in there, it takes him a little while to get things figured out. And his class is so stacked. I mean, behind him, you're going to find 4 or 5 riders that really think should be ahead of him. And it's just a glimpse at how well he could do in the future.
Well, Suzuki may have some bright spots coming up. You think of Sean Hamlin and Brian Gray. Who knows what will happen with the rest of that crew. Meanwhile, Ryan Hughes had a little rough ride here on the final lap. Does not want to throw it away the same spot where Mike Brown had his problems.
No, he's got it from here. A couple of fun jumps. He goes right past the KTM semi, actually right there. A thumbs up over to his team and his wife.
And your winner, Moto number 1, Ryan Hughes.
Did you hear him? He's like, woohoo! Yeah, that's 3 in a row. Brown's like, okay, well, on the podium last week, I talked about anybody can go fast on a smooth track. Wait till we get back east. We are back east, and Rhino just shut him down.
We'll be back to talk to our winner after this short break. More from Mount Morris in a moment.
Everybody's right.
12 feet above sea level. So sit back.
Todd Harris along with David Bailey and Cameron Steele. Moments ago, Ryan Hughes, number 105 on board his KTM, picked up the Moto 1 win. He was followed by Mike Brown, Eric Sorby, Grant Langston, and Michael Byrne holding on to a top 5 finish. Brian Gray finishing up a very respectable 10th place finish. Mills drops to 12. Andrew Short goes 15. Right now, let's send it down to Cameron Steele, who is with our winner. Cameron.
Well, Rhino, unbelievable moto, 3 in a row. What happened to Brownie out there?
In the back section, he made a little mistake and flew off the course and went through the banner, so I think he thought maybe he got some banners stuck in his back wheel. He was riding good, it just takes a little mistake, you know. We were right on each other, just corner for corner, and, you know, if I was in front of him and I did that, it'd probably turn out the same way, you know, but hey, 3 in a row. I've never done it in my life, and I'm happy, man. My Red Bull KTM is just on fire, and I don't know, riding that bike makes it easy, so it's a good decision to go with KTM.
Last week, obviously, very emotional with your first win in so long. Now, do you feel like it's sinking in, you're getting in the motion, you're ready to start chasing the championship?
One race at a time, one moto at a time, you know. I mean, I've been there in the hunt a couple times, and I've blown it a couple times. So for me, I'm just going to try to win every moto I can, and if I can't, try to get as many points I can. And towards the end of the season, then that's when we started thinking about the championship.
Great job, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Good job for Ryan Hughes. As he said, 3 in a row as we take a look at upcoming races. Southwick, Mass on the 8th, Budds Creek on the 15th, and Buchanan, Michigan on the 6th. Let's send it back down to Cameron Steele.
Brownie leading out there. What happened?
Just Rhino caught up to me, and I was just trying to go fast in the section. It was really hard to go fast in, and I went off the track a little bit and got banners in my front wheel.
When you get the banners in your front wheel, a lot of people are worried about it, you know, hanging up. Some people thinking the brakes might not work so well if the plastic gets in there. Were any of those factors, or was it just having to play catch-up afterwards?
I wasn't really worried about it getting caught up. I didn't have no front brakes for half the last race, you know, when I got them in there. And it's kind of hard with having no front brakes on these hills and stuff, going down and trying to go fast and get stopped to the inside. But, you know, last 2 laps it started coming back. But no, I'll be ready for the second moto.
So it's Hughes and Brown 1 and 2, and Eric Sorby charges hard. He picks up 3rd. Back down to Cameron.
Eric, another brilliant ride at 3rd place, but I know you're feeling a little under the weather. Is that a factor in keeping up with those 2 guys?
Yeah, you know, I'm feeling pretty good. I have the third place again, so I stay on front. You know, I have a third overall, and I need a podium every week and be consistent. I say I can be champion, you know, because Mike and Ryan, good rider, but it's odd rider. So I just need to ride every time on front, podium, and we'll see.
All right, thank you, Cameron. We are certainly looking forward to Moto number 2. Right now, it's time to step aside, taking the flavor of Mount Morris in this week's edition of the Racer X Pit Pass from High Point Raceway. To Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, we take a hot lap with Cameron Steele. Stay with us.
Well, people, if I was lazy like you, I'd be sitting on the couch at home, but no, I'm here at Mount Morris, High Point Raceway. I'm getting ready to take you on the Sorby Suzuki Fast Lap. I'm going to put the camera on my helmet and try to go as fast as the pros. We all know I can't, but don't throw rocks and don't make fun because I'm trying hard, okay? Hey, High Point Raceway, off cambers, got some ruts. It's kind of scary. Let's go check it out. First thing you'll notice here at High Point is the dirt starting line, and it takes you on an uphill drag race to the first corner. You're going to go through a couple sweepers, a left, right, and up over the first tunnel jump. You get into this section, it's downhill step jumps. They're not doubled, and they're hard to time. Every once in a while, you can get over a couple. Most of the time, you're trying to find your line in the rut. Don't want to go down in high side like that guy there. Off camber corner, takes you to water, kind of whoops. Some guys will double, some guys will triple. I'm just taking a look here for this first lap. Little rough, lots of wet spots. Up this first climb, lots of roost flying here. Pick your line, gas it. You're gonna get all the way to the top of this hill, and you're gonna have to find a rut. This place develops tight, deep ruts. Check it out. Guys hopping across, back off down the step down jump, into this right-hand corner, into the muck. A left-hand turn takes you down into a little bit of a gorge, wide open, fast, so you get the left downhill turn. Some gooey spots here where you're heading to your first big uphill. That's going to take you to the big step-up jump. A hard right turn drives you back down into the new pro section. Head back what was grass in practice. Make a left-hand turn and back up the hill again. And this is going to send you towards the off cambers. Gonna head downhill. This is a tricky spot of the track. I think it's tough. You gotta find your line, and it's also off camber, so you're sliding out of whatever line or rut you get. A little step down jump. Some of the guys might clear it, but it's so rough and so ruddy. Back into the trees. Check the cloud. You see a real roost on the uphill off camber. Right hand turn on the gas, headed back in front of all the pits and all the semis. Next up will be the step up that starts Bradshaw Boulevard. There's a couple double jumps. Your finish line will be here on the last jump, but there's a left-hand turn that's going to take you down behind the start area where the biggest jump on the track is, and that's the uphill triple. One last right-hand corner, you're back at the start line, and that's your Sorby Suzuki Fast Lap.
All right, Cameron, good to have you back on the Sorby Suzuki Fast Lap.
If you can call it that. No, he did a good job, and what they're doing right here is making sure since the dirt starts, that gate, when it falls, it's going to fall all the way flat. A lot of people don't check that, and they end up having to run up over about a 3 or 4 foot gap. That'll ruin your start right away.
We are set to go with Moto number 2. As you remember, Ryan Hughes picked up the victory in Moto number 1, looking to make it 4 in a row. Right now, let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Well, guys, we got the gate loaded for Moto number 2 in the 125cc class. I checked with all the mechanics in between motos. Mike Brown and the pro circuit crew really aren't doing much. Brownie's lowering his tire pressure to get a better sidewall bite. as the track dries up. Ryan Hughes is still running the same tire he rode in practice this morning. He has not changed one thing on his bike all day. Then the Yamaha Troy guys, they all went to Moose Tube, which is like an inner tube, but it doesn't hold air. It's just a spongy foam material, so they can't get a flat like Brock Sellards. And then just for fun, Brian Gray, the Team Suzuki rider, he decided to get food poisoning in between motos, and he's not feeling well.
Well, the 30 board is up, and for Hughes, this is go time, no question about it.
Well, he's lined up right next to Mike Brown. This is it. Whoever gets this moto gets the overall and a points lead.
Number 338, Brian Gray. Cameron reported he has a little food poisoning. How much do you think that is nerves involved?
Well, nerves can do a lot of things, and I think what it probably did was trigger something he may have had already. I don't know if you can get food poisoning that fast, but I know how it feels to try to ride one of these motos when you're not feeling well. It's tough to do, but Brown and Rhino are ready to go.
Moto 2 is off here at Mount Morris, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, side by side already. Thought Brown might be able to tuck around the outside and get him on the inside into this one, but he couldn't do it, so this is set up perfect. All the players are right there.
KTM and Kawasaki hold down the top 4 positions. Your leader, 105, Ryan Hughes. Mike Brown on the Kawasaki. Number 3 tucks into second behind him, a teammate, 917 Eric Sorby, and then 111 Grant Langston in fourth.
Well, Ryan Hughes has got plenty of hole shots in his preparation for this 125 Outdoor Series, but none during the actual races. So this should make his job quite a bit easier, or he could go the other way and worry a little too much about what's going on behind him.
Way back in the middle of the pack was number 18, Brock Sellards. He had a flat in the first race. It looks like he has not solved the problems on that hole shot there. So Sellards has his work out for him. The racing is fantastic. Look at the speed they're carrying through this section, David.
And Brown is running in second. He just jumped up in there to a little nosedive panic rev. He got through there okay, but it looked a little ugly.
As the rest of the field comes through, this is Moto number 2. Ryan Hughes picked up Moto 1 win, and now Mike Brown, number 3, currently sitting in second place, would like to pick up a victory here, thus giving him the overall.
And it takes so much. It just takes a pounding every time you jump through there. And the only way to do it fast is just jump off those ledges, and it's a hard landing no matter what. You can set your suspension up to fix it, but it would be bad everywhere else.
And for Grant Langston, taking that pounding on that injured wrist is not a comfortable situation for him. He currently holds down 4th. Michael Brandis is in 5th, number 68. And then there's Ivan Tedesco.
Look at how far Tedesco flies all the way to the flag. Good enough for the pass. Well, I thought it was. He should have been a little more mean as he entered that left. That's where Rhino was able to pass Sellards in the first moto, and Ivan...
Hot sauce comes right back. Now look at that.
He's using the whole racetrack trying to create something, but that extra power of Brandis' bike is giving him fits right now.
Ivan Tedesco, number 52 on the Yamaha, currently sitting in 6th position. Came on strong at the end of the Supercross year. As we go back to 68, Brandis right in front of him.
Now Brandis is just riding smooth enough, taking good lines, plenty of power. It's going to be really tough for Tedesco to get around. He's got to keep the pressure on and force him into a mistake. But look how far Ivan flies off the jump. Landed actually pretty soft. He should do that every lap, but he needed to come in here and cut off that line just a little bit more. He knows that now. He may have a chance to do it again the next lap, but now that I think Brandis is hip to that. So Sorby's staying a little bit closer this time, starting to check out from Langston.
There are your top 4 going through. It's Hughes, Brown, Sorby, and Langston. And here comes the rest of the pack with Tedesco and Brandis.
That downhill right there into that off-camber corner is so tough. Look at that. The whole thing is just lean. I rode around a four-wheeler. I thought I was going to tip over.
This is the section Mike Brown has problems in Moto number 1. Ivan Tedesco getting a great run in the outside, and Brandis unable to close him down. So Tedesco picks up his position. Michael Brandis goes back one.
Now Ivan needs to set his sights on the next pack, pick up the pace just a little bit. He's cleared his vision with the tear off. He should be able to bridge that gap. Problem for Kelly Smith in the back.
Kelly Smith in a very difficult position right there, unable to kick over that Yamaha. We'll step aside with Hughes, your leader, Brown in second, and Sorby in third. Back to Mount Morris in a moment.
Man, ever since I've been
Raceway, the Thor Nationals AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship. Todd Harris along with David Bailey and Cameron Steele, and it is really heating up here in Moto number 2. Your leader, Ryan Hughes, 105. Number 3 on the Kawasaki's Mike Brown, sitting in second place. And David, he is absolutely all over the back, closing down the gap on Hughes. And he makes the pass on the jump. Look at this. Hughes on the inside, unable to get it done, and Brown moves into first.
It looked to me like he just decided now's the time, tired of waiting, tired of getting roosted, and he flew all the way to the flat. He hit that jump wide open and just caught Rhino surprised just a little bit, got into the corner, and gets rid of the tear off. It's a risky place to be letting go of the handlebars wide open like that, but he is strong. He is determined to win this race. He's saying he didn't have a front brake the first moto. He's got both brakes now, and he's going to put them to use. It's up to Rhino to answer this challenge and stay with him.
Well, I'd love to see a lap time here for Mike Brown. He is absolutely flying through the class. This is the battle for 6th place as it rages on the other side of the track. A rider goes down in the middle of the track.
Now, Branden didn't realize what was going on with Byrne coming on the inside like that. He thought, well, let me just square this up right now, and he had no idea what was happening. Surprised. Branden, you just don't move that guy out of the way. Look at Brown. Flies all the way to the flat. Pretty hard landing, and just catches Rhino looking for a line. It looked to me like he'd had enough. Decided, that's it. I'm winning this thing, and that's all there is to it. Pinned around that corner, really forcing Rhino to pick it up now. Put the pressure on him. Maybe Rhino makes some mistakes and make Brown's job easier this time. See, Branden is thinking, all right, Gossel's got me. I'll square him up. Oh, sorry about that. And luckily that wasn't in a high-speed area because Byrne landed right on his hip.
As if that section was not tough enough. Off camber and everything, and then there's a big pile-up. As you pointed out, David, slower section of the course, so no major injury right there. Mike Brown continues to lead. Ryan Hughes is in second.
Branden's trying to hold off Metcalf. Metcalf was going fast the first moto and had that problem and had to come from behind. A little bit better start this time. Looks like he's going to be able to get Branden down the straightaway. Just technique is allowing him to get this.
Just going through his 39, Chris Gosler.
Well, you don't want to hit those jumps that fast every lap. A lot of wear and tear on the bike and your body, but it is faster.
123, Brett Metcalf on the KTM, currently sitting in 7th position. Not a good sign for Brian Gray. We talked about him. Cameron reported that he was battling a bit of the stomach flu. And as we go back to the battle for first, it's still Mike Brown, number 3. Ryan Hughes on the inside, though, trying to get a run at him.
This is what Rhino needed to do. He wants the overall win bad. He'd have a 5-point lead if he can win it. If he doesn't win it, he'll still be a point behind. So this is for everything right here. Oh, Brown missed the shift.
So Brown goes wide, 105. Hughes goes into first place. Brown slides back into second. And he's coming right back, though. Look at him. He's got it wide open.
Whoa, shoves him. Rhino is off the track. He can't pass him. Jumps back in behind him, and you do not want to make Ryan Hughes mad. He will retaliate. This is not over. He's not going to let that go. Brown can do that to Fonseca, last year before, and get away with it, but not with Ryan Hughes. He's looking around, too.
Yeah, I think he knows, what have I done? Oh, and Ryan Hughes goes in and makes contact. So Hughes goes right into first place, Brown into second. Everyone at KTM's happy about that. Folks at Kawasaki, and look at this, Brown coming right back.
Well, you can hear the crowd. Look at Brown just making sure there's no way Ryan's going to have a chance to get him back. Jumps into that section where he blew it the first moto. This time it's Ryan Hughes getting a little sketchy through there. This race doesn't get any better. They've got almost 30 seconds at this point of the race on Eric Sorby in third. These guys are absolutely flying. And that was in the orange shirt. That was Larry Brooks flexing his muscles, telling Rhino, be strong. You're the man. Win this thing. Brown's pretty strong, too. Oh, he gets him again.
Brown comes right back, puts the wheel in there, gets underneath him, and he gets the lead back. This is unbelievable, David. 5 lead changes in the last lap.
Well, it looks to have settled down just a little bit right now, but this place has come to life. Mount Morris is seeing some of the best stuff, absolutely the best racing we've seen so far in this outdoor series. Brown, lucky when he hit neutral there not to go over the handlebars. Rhino was close enough to take advantage of it. And then Brown right back to the inside. Didn't look like they made contact, but Rhino was not going to give in to that. And as a result, he had to go off the track. If he would have passed him right there, I think Brown and the pro circuit team would have said, hey, wait a second, that's a penalized there. And then the contact. I didn't think Ryan Hughes was going to let that fly. And I thought that might be it. But then Brown coming right back on the off camera, does a little Ricky Carmichael kind of stop, look over deal, going, hey, you can't have it. Then Ryan Hughes back to the inside. I thought that might have been a done deal. And then Brown, these guys, this is sheer heart. Solved. This is what the sport has been missing a lot of, and these guys are bringing it back. The two oldest guys in the class, pretty much, both 30 years old, and they're going fast. And they got almost a 40-second lead on Eric Sorby in third. It's just amazing. What a breath of fresh air into the sport. The older guys showing how much experience and desire and maturity matters.
Chris Gosler's number 39 right there. He's got his hands full with Metcalf on the KTM. Metcalf goes wide. Gosler goes to the outside. As they come down high speed, Gosler makes a nice turn, pivots through there, and he's right back on the gas. But he takes a quick look over and sees Metcalf is not going away. Well, all the way through the field, David, it's not just 1 and 2. Back in 6 and 7, the battle is raging on. Metcalf now in 6th. Gosler right behind him in 7th.
And the crowd still just stunned from what they've just seen. Brown, older, wiser, faster. Hughes, we always believe they're bringing it to Mount Morris.
Back to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, High Point Raceway. Todd Harris along with David Bailey and Cameron Steele. This is the final lap, 125, Moto number 2. And it is Mike Brown out in front, and Ryan Hughes is on the charge.
Well, a lap ago, Ryan Hughes blew this double right here. He jumped over the top of that berm, and he couldn't do this. And he lost about 20 bike lengths or so, and he's gotten all that back, closed the gap a little bit, just of course, to make Mike nervous, make him ride a perfect lap. And that's all he can do. You know, these guys, I don't think they can go any faster than they are. They're absolutely floored everywhere around the racetrack.
Well, Mike Brown has rode a great race. Moto number 1 was a different story when he got tangled up in that flagging stuff, kind of backed off a bit, worrying that his brakes might lock up. Ryan Hughes picked up the victory there. But look at it, here comes Hughes one more time.
Oh, he's giving it everything he's got. Good thing there was a berm out there because he needed one to get stopped. This is it, the final straightaway. It looks like Brown's going to get it. They both deserved it, but Brown came back and answered Rhino's challenge.
So Mike Brown picks up the win in Moto number 2 by virtue of that, and a second-place finish in Moto number 1. He will get the overall.
I hope
but those two got together. Exactly. That's a good sign.
There you go. Man, if it had been 5 years ago, Rhino
would have been flying.
Jumped off his bike and tackled him to the ground. That's great to see. They realized, I mean, they just lit this place up. Mount Morris hasn't seen racing like this in a long time, and to see it from the two veterans, wow.
Well, the good news is this is only stop number 3, but the Thor Nationals go into the history books as we take a look at the Honda official results. It's Brown, Hughes, Sorby, Langston, and Tedesco. Then it's Metcalf, Byrne, Gosler, Roncada, and Michael Brandis rounding out your top 10. A great day of racing, absolutely perfect conditions for the 125. Let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Eric, a great performance, another 3rd place, 2 thirds for 3rd overall. Are you surprised, being sick, that you were able to stay up on the podium? Were you worried that you might drop back during the race at all?
Yeah, you know, at the second moto, I take a good start with Mike and Rhino. I tried to ride with Rhino and Max, but after 3 or 4 laps, I feel very tired. So, 3rd place overall is pretty good for me because if you see me last year, I did good, bad, and now I did good the 3 first run, so I need to training hard for the next race.
Consistency is the key to a championship. Great race today, Eric, and we'll see you at the next round at Southwick.
All right, thank you. I need to training hard, and I want to win. So
we'll see you next time, Eric.
All right, thank you, cameras. We take a look at the overall results brought to us by Honda. It's Mike Brown picking up the overall victory. Ryan Hughes, Eric Sorby, Grant Langston, and Ivan Tedesco. Let's go back down to camera Steele, who's with our overall winner.
Well, your champion today is Mike Brown, going 2-1 for the overall victory today. Mike, it looked like you were ultra determined to jump over the finish line, airing it out on the single jump to flat to pass Ryan or to get the edge on him. You seem like you're on a mission.
I was, you know, I just want to get out there and get in the lead and see what I had, you know, and didn't want to make no mistakes like you just said, and, you know, I just rode my race and just didn't worry about him, and, you know, it was a tight battle, you know, we banged a few times, and, you know, like he said, it's, you know, it's just racing. Me and him raced a lot together before, and we've rubbed and raced, you know, and off the track we're, you know, we're really good friends now, and, you know, I respect that, you know, like you said, we've been around a long time, and there's no use to be mad and hard feelings to nobody.
I want to ask you, you guys have been doing some battle. You're leading the points leaving here. Next race, James Stewart coming back. Have you guys given that much thought? Have you thought about it much? Or are you ready to just throw a whooping on him as well?
You know, I think if we ride the same way we're riding, it'll be hard to beat, you know. I think he's a good stand rider, and he's just coming back, so you know, hopefully me and Rhino can put it on him there and, you know, keep us up in front.
Great job. Congratulations on your win today, Mike.
Thank you.
Well, Mike Brown picks up the victory. Ryan Hughes will get second. David, that's some of the best racing we've seen all year.
Yeah, I want to congratulate Mike on a great win, and both of them have a lot to be happy about. And you know, the day that we've had, it's hard to believe that they'd be looking at taking this race off the schedule for 05. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Let's go back down to Cameron, who's with Ryan Hughes.
Ryan going 2 for 2 last week, winning both motos, winning the first moto today. Is it hard to settle for second place at this point?
Yeah, it is a little bit, you know. I mean, I rode my butt off the whole time, but, you know, Brownie did too. You know, he didn't luck into it. He deserved it. So, you know, I had the lead, and, you know, I could hear him. He had a couple different, you know, some better lines. So when he got a good drive on me and came around, I kind of let him go and see if I can learn from him. But I could maybe pressure him into some mistakes. But man, he never made any mistakes. You know, I mean, he'd pull a little bit, and then I'd pull a little bit. It's just kind of a yo-yo effect. And then we started bumping and ramming each other. And but that's racing. You know, if we didn't, there'd be something wrong with us. And we both want to win really bad. And you know, we got a lot of experience. We've been here for a while, so it's good. I'm happy.
Great job. We'll see you at Southwick. Next time, Ryan.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. That wraps things up from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Rhino wins the first one. Mike Brown comes back to get the second and the overall. On behalf of the champ, David Bailey and Cameron Steele, I'm Todd Harris saying so long from High Point Raceway. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.